another one. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Thanks for the follow, Ash Randall. Appreciate that.
makes my little digi-heart proud.
I realized my mic wasn't on when I said thank you, but Flaky, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate it. You don't really have to donate, but when it happens, it's greatly appreciated, and I promise it goes to some useful things. So, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. To those of you who've joined, I just decided to update some reference sheets for characters of mine, specifically my main characters. Let me show you the old one. This is the older reference sheet. I don't necessarily draw her like this anymore. I don't know. I just felt like updating it. It's a nice drawing, and I do like this reference sheet, and it does give off the good details of what Riley looks like. But in terms of how I've been drawing her for the comic, it's fairly different. So.
Incoming connection!
Queestock, thank you so much for the follow. I gotta test out my chat. Yep, chat's not showing up. So if anyone's been making any messages, I deeply apologize. It seems to happen whenever I don't test it. Yeah, something's wrong. Something's wrong with the chat. It seems to happen a lot.
Well.
T. Calidonna, thank you so much. Alright, now it works. If anyone sent me any messages, I apologize. They should have shown up. I was just... I mean, for all I know, the chat was completely silent, but at the same time, I was wondering why it was quiet. But, I guess that kind of, showed me. Yeah, sorry about that.
Another one? Oh, this is gonna
Milkor
be
the
fun!
Great, thank you so much for the follow. Yep, just royalty-free music. This is just to keep the background nice and not quiet. So, it's not so much royalty-free, but it's claim-free. That's the distinction that I found out about earlier. Whereas if you have claim-free music, YouTube will not touch it. And I mean, I figured this was a good way to get around it. It's not the best music. It's not the kind of music that I want to listen to. Honestly, it oddly makes me a little bit more inspired, because if it's music I haven't heard before and it's just kind of like happening, it kind of gives me something else to think about. Because for the most part, the music that I listen to on a regular basis is music that I've already heard and I like it. This is just kind of like, while it's not the best, it's given me something new to listen to, and it kind of keeps me going, kind of keeps my creative juices flowing. It's like, that's something that people don't necessarily think about a lot of the times when it comes to music, is that, if you listen to something different, or if there's something new, it resonates something in your brain, I think, where, oh, now I'm thinking of something else instead of what I'm usually thinking about. Because what I'm usually thinking about is like, I know already what it is I want to do and want to listen to, but if I'm given something that I don't usually think about, it kind of like triggers something in my mind where it's like, oh, this is something I haven't thought about before. So, I don't know. I had a whole big music theory concept about that. Speaking of, I should put that in my live tutorial ideas. Using music to be creative. And I'll save that, and that'll be a future subject. So. It's kind of why you should kind of branch out to try something different every once in a while. Because usually when you're stuck with the things that you know, you don't really consider that there are different things out there. And that's why I kind of feel like it's a different way to be selfish when you think about it. You don't necessarily think about it that way. And it's like, fine, it's great. Like the things that you like. But realize that it's not the only thing that's considered good out there. And that there's the possibility of someone liking something else. And just give it a shot, if anything. Try to like consider something different. I'm already making this a live tutorial again, but again, this is something that I've discussed numerous times when it comes to like music theory and creativity. I actually did that for a class back in college. And I feel like no one was really understanding where I was coming from, because half of the class was already culinary arts students. They weren't really creative types, but I'm going to be honest, I didn't really go to a very good college. My animation college years are not fondly remembered. There are some really, there were some good people there. There's actually a couple folks that I knew who ended up graduating, and most of my graduating class went to like Blizzard Entertainment, which around my final years there was a weird insurgence of video game design that came in, because most of the teachers were from Blizzard, And I thought that was kind of... I thought that was both kind of weird and a little too on the nose, because it's like, it feels like, I think they were grooming the school a little bit to become Blizzard employees, as video game design was starting to take over a little bit. I plan to do more tutorials, hopefully over the week. I have other subjects that I'd like to talk about, and if it's helpful to folks, I mean, that's fantastic. So, you know. And I'm thinking up subjects to talk about every now and then, and writing them down so I can figure them out later.
Oh, this is gonna be fun!
Luxar Man, thank you so much for the follow. Wait, are you the same Luxar Man that I know on Twitter? Oh, hey. It's nice to see you here. Very, very pleased to see you. I hope you're doing well today. I somehow feel that I'm doing a little bit more detail than I should, and I'm starting to lose myself when it comes to my drawing here. Thank you so much. I love your art too. I saw earlier today, folks were talking about, some folks that I knew, they were talking about straights and curves and how it's like it's apparently an animation rule of design, and I kind of see it, but it's not necessarily something that you need to do, but it certainly does show up a lot when you're drawing stuff. And I guess it's one of those things where it's like, I think when something's taught, it kind of becomes like more of a law than it is a way of like thinking about how to draw. And you know, I think that's that can be a problem sometimes. I am not necessarily happy with how this is looking, and I might have to redline this a little bit. Let me see. Yeah, that's the thing. Well, it's. I feel like it's a very Disney feature way of thinking, specifically like because animators like Milt Kahl and oh shoot, names are escaping me. I'm not very good at remembering names, sadly. So if you're coming to me about like animation history and stuff, I'm not your man. I would honestly better direct you to folks like my friend Mike Ruaco, who honestly, he could look at a cell of a movie, specifically Disney, and he could tell you who was the animator. Probably not who was like cleanup, because that kind of information is honestly kind of lost. But he would definitely tell you who animated it, and yeah, tweeting is a bit of a... It's kind of a bit of a bad word when it comes to animation, which, honestly, having grown up doing Flash, I will honestly be the first to tell you it's not a huge deal, but it's very noticeable if done wrong. If done right, tweening can be a very useful tool. But people tend to like to, as soon as they see something moving in a tween style, they get really, really irate, and it's like, dude, calm down. Calm down. Animation is a grueling process, and sometimes people, they have to do this within hours, not even days' time. It's not like they're given weeks to do a scene. They're given like days. And we're still trying to come up with good methods to make animation look nice, while at the same time being not as time consuming. And the unfortunate thing is that you can't have good animation done for cheap and at a short amount of time. You can't have all three. I honestly think a lot of the animation that we've done on Looney Tunes cartoons was done on the cheap, and it still came out great. But people don't realize that, and yet they will still look at it and say, "Wow, this looks like garbage. This should look like movie quality." Well, we're not on a fucking movie budget. And even if we were on a movie budget, I honestly think what we came up with was really goddamn good. Sorry, that it kind of ticks me off a little bit how callous people can be about just about animation in general, because they don't know the amount of time and effort that is spent. Like, I always say it like this, especially when you're given like a TV budget. When you're in TV, you have to kind of consider that we're doing animation in record time. We're basically coming up with basically the equivalent of, I would say, in the time that we do it. In the time that we do it and the amount of stuff that we make, I would say we do about 5 movies in the span of 1 year in terms of the amount of work that we do. So while a movie in its budget and time, like an hour and a half of content is usually done in about 2 to 3 years. I'm being kind of, I think most movies, especially if they're like from pre-production to post-production, are done in between an amount of like maybe at most 4 years. But a lot of movies, you know, they're done in like 2 to 3 years, I would say. Now, you think about TV animation, and most productions when they start, I would say most animation done for TV is done at maybe like a full year, not even that, depending on how much content is done. So it's like you have 13 episodes of a season, let's say, and it's 22 minutes per episode. 22 times 13, give me a second. 22 times 13 is 286 minutes. And 286 divided by 60 that's almost 5 hours. That's almost like 5 hours of content done in less than a year. And you think about all the time and effort that goes into it, from writing to storyboarding to animation, and the amount of time and effort that is put into less than a year to come up with 22 minutes. And that's almost 5 hours is the equivalent of, say, 3-4 movies. So TV animation does not get enough credit for what they do. Especially now, given the cartoons that we've seen now. I think the animation has actually gotten better. And we're still using tricks like tweening and shit like that. But given the amount of time and effort that's put into it, yeah, Gabe would know. GadWorks. Gabe, who's in chat right now, has also worked on Looney Tunes, and he can contest that it's a lot of work and effort. And yeah, I just honestly feel like, hey, give TV animation more credit. I know a lot of people in features who kind of like poo-poo TV animation and say it's like it's not as how should I put this? It's not as sophisticated, maybe. And there's people who will actually say like, well, TV animation is just not that great. Hi, Ginny Silvara. And it's like that kind of ignorant concept of what goes into TV animation is kind of passé, if you ask me. I having worked in TV for most of my life, my career, I've grown to. I don't even think I've really grown into appreciating it more. I've always kind of liked TV animation a little bit more. I went into college thinking feature animation was like the only job you could go to. You know? Yeah, exactly. Not to mention, yeah, as Gabe mentioned, it's like we also have to basically take all the information that we have and send it over to another country for it to get animated. And the animation that we get is really honestly top-notch. Those people work really hard to make the stuff look good. And, you know, it's just like, honestly, I think the only reason why I talk about this is because I'm a little bit upset with people like, you know, critics who kind of think that animation, especially in TV, is like lazy. And listen, I get where they're coming from. It really depends from show to show. I mean, there's obviously other shows that have been done more on the cheap, and they definitely kind of look like it, but honestly, I wouldn't even give them crap. You know, it's like, I don't know what... As I say cheap, the first thing I think of is like Biker Mice from Mars, but whenever I think of shows like that, I always think like, dear God, did they make those characters really detailed. And they... Like, we look at shows like Ninja Turtles and what else? He-Man. Trying to think of other stuff. DuckTales. You look at those shows. Look at how freaking detailed those shows are in terms of design. And given the knowledge of like how long it takes to make a television program that's animated. And it's like, I'm like impressed with the amount of dedication and that came into just like all like shows also like Men in Black and Jackie Chan Adventures. Those characters are so freaking detailed. I don't understand how they could, and real Ghostbusters. It's like you when you think of cheap TV animation, I would consider those usually come up on people's radar, and those are shows that people really like, you know? Oh god, yeah, Tiny Toons was like detailed as hell. I was actually like, looking back at a lot of those cartoons, it's like we give a lot of the credit for animation, like for Tokyo Movie Shinsha TMS animation, and they went above and beyond with a lot of their animation. But man, when I think about Japanese studios, I just think of like how little sleep they must have got just to get an episode done, and I don't blame them for wanting to ask for more money. Even if they didn't ask for money, and like studios were saying, oh, they're too expensive. It's like, yeah, look at what you're getting. Look at the animation that you're getting. It's incredible. So if they're doing like the kind of stuff that they're doing, it's like, Actherion, thanks for the follow. I mean, I'm very passionate about this stuff. clearly. But, yeah, it just makes me like... When I listen to people like critics who aren't really in animation and stuff like that, it's like, it's kind of difficult to take what they say seriously. Because, you know, and I used to also be a bastard about it. I used to be like a real shithead about animation, and I used to have I mean, when I made a podcast about reviewing or watching like animated movies of all different kinds, it's like I wanted to at least try to watch it on a bit of a more what's it called? Subjective, objective. Yeah, I can't think of. I honestly, there was a time where I thought like, hey, what if I moved to Japan, and what if what if I started doing animation there? First off, I wouldn't know the first thing to do. I know some people who did move to Japan and started animating, and they think it's crazy. They don't know how the hell people survive that way. And it's kind of scary to think about sometimes. You don't really know much about something unless you experience it yourself. Hey, D-Tunes. But, you know, I mean, it's still story and everything is also a big factor.
That was a bit uncalled for,
and,
but...
oh my gosh! Etherion, thanks for the subscription. Really appreciate that. Games Rose Quartz, hello. Hey James Nathan too.
Wait a sec, weren't you here before?
Labradude31, thank you so much for the follow. It's funny because like someone chat member brought up Swan Princess, and it's like you can still screw up a cartoon like anything, you know. It's like it's not, nothing is like sacred. I'm not gonna, I still do appreciate a lot of animation that was done on Swan Princess. Not a lot of it's not amazing, but that story was just so bad. That's another, it's a whole other kettle of fish, honestly. It's very Shadrow. Gibletti, thank you so much for the follow. A lot of people are following today. Thank you so much. Something that I've noticed with a lot of animators, it's like everyone has like their kind of flair, their kind of way to animate.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
TLE, I don't even know, is following. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Wow. This is a character of mine from my webcomic, Down Lovable Content. And I'm updating her reference sheet. And I just, just wanted to do it. Just wanted to, like, because in the older reference sheet, she kind of has, like, a different look to her. And especially the way I draw her in the comic. And I just wanted to update it a little bit. And I'm probably going to also be drawing one for Sinead, and Raylan and Pixels.
Well.
Apollo Blue, thank you so much for the follow. Oh, well, that's nice of you to say. I appreciate that. It's, making videos is really hard, and I've kind of grown out of the review scene. I mean, I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of glad that Channel Awesome is dead. That those were days that I'm not particularly proud of. I certainly feel like I was a bit of an asshole back then, even though I really wasn't trying to be. But, I just wanted to, I think I was trying to fit in with a crowd that I thought was, cool at the time.
Well.
Remrot, thank you so much for the follow. Hopefully I'm not doing too many unnecessary details here. Sleeves are a bit of a problem. You know what? Let me try this again. So I'm gonna undo this stuff. And I'm gonna redline again. Did you ever play Brawlhalla? Oh, is that Smash Brothers game? A Smash Brothers-esque game, I mean. Brawlhalla's got Rayman? Are you serious? Oh no. That means we're not gonna get him in Smash. Alright, how am I gonna treat these sleeves? What if I didn't even make them that long? What if I just kind of made them a little shorter?
Another one.
Hey, Rich One,
This
thanks
is
for the
gonna be
follow.
fun.
What inspired my style? I've wondered this for a while. I know that glorifying an artist's style is kind of weird, but I'm real curious to develop such an awesome looking style. Well, first off, thank you so much. It's weird. It's I feel like a lot of my influences came from around when I was 10 years old. I found out about a little comic called Gold Digger by the great Fred Perry. I got into manga pretty early, like when Viz published Ranma Half, and that was like my first manga that I really got into. And around the same time, I started reading Gold Digger, and I was like, "Huh, this is really interesting." And it was made by an American artist, but it looked anime-ish, it looked manga-ish. And I kind of liked the way he approached design, and I tried to kind of emulate that when I was really young. Given my previous style influences, which were like Disney and a lot of European comics like Asterix, and I really also liked DuckTales and Garfield, and a lot of Disney afternoon shows. I don't really think I hit anything quite hard until I started reading those comics. And I don't know, I just kind of like developed it from there. And as time went on, you know, it's like, and there's like a ton of other influences as well. It's like I was really into Earthworm Jim. It was also video game stuff. I loved Mega Man. Mega Man was a big influence on me. I guess I just kind of took a little bit of everything. I just kind of like developed my own sort of way of, like, you know, the way I learned to draw was like observe something and then just kind of like come up with my own interpretation of it. So yeah, I don't know. It's if that answers your question.
Wait a sec. Weren't you here before?
It's Jamiola. Thank you so much for the follow. Yeah, I'm really into Mega Man. Would you have any tips for motivation when it comes to drawing in general? I've been that's a bit of a loaded question because I have several ideas about it, which is also something I thought about for a future live tutorial. I have to think about it a little bit more though, because really, I don't like to force myself too much into drawing. I've realized that you know, having a sketchbook around and just kind of like drawing like stupid stuff in it for a while doesn't really work all that great because I'm kind of forcing myself to draw. Drawing has to come naturally to me. And I mean, also I have to kind of force myself to draw for my job, and that's also really difficult. And it takes like a lot of energy out of me. So once I'm done with my job, sometimes I don't even want to draw for a while. It's called burnout, and it's real, and it happens. But I also kind of take my time with it, and I say like, I just kind of say like, you know, if I go and do something else that isn't drawing, like I start watching a show or a movie, or start playing a video game, or start reading a book, it kind of helps get those creative juices flowing a little bit better. And I start like thinking like, oh hey, now I'm coming up with ideas for stuff that I want to draw. And I know I've been wanting to do this for a while, so, you know, I just kind of like work off of that. So, but everyone approaches it differently. I know that there's some folks. You know what? I've actually always wondered, Gabe, what do you do to find motivation to draw? Yeah, and I know the quarantine is also kind of like, it also kind of hurts, you know? I think that's something that folks, chat member just sent a message about perfectionism. And I think that's a mentality that people just kind of have to, they kind of have to make themselves, just kind of like relieve themselves of that idea, that concept of perfectionism. And that's why it's like, I really, and I say that as I'm trying to perfect this fucking sleeve that is not making me feel right. I think I'm thinking about it too hard. But, oh, fuck. Perfectionism is something that you just kind of have to let go a little bit, because it's like, I love drawing rough, and I love drafting, and I just love making messy like sketches like that. Look at you look at this, and this is a mess of a sketch. I would honestly just love to just finish on that and then be done with it. But yeah, it's like, it's one of those things where it's just like, if you start cleaning something up or want to make a finished thing, don't think of the finished product while you're sketching. And I always tell folks, it's just kind of like, if you let go of that kind of concept, you'll have a better time trying to figure out where you want to go with something. Do I have a Discord? Yeah, I have a Discord, but you have to join my Patreon for that.
Okay, now you're just talking crazy.
Oh God, Luxar, thank you. Thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate that. So Gabe basically says, like, I enjoy drawing for my job and I put a lot of energy into it. The fun for me is discovering things while I'm drawing, boarding, setting up small goals and hitting them. When I draw for myself, it's normally because I have a burst of creative energy or I'm so mentally burned out that I need to free my mind by doodling. And that's good. Yeah. Could you guys give me like a couple minutes? I will be right back. And I'll keep it up to her face so you're not just looking at her legs. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, I had to get some Tums. I don't think the lunch that I had is sitting well with me. I haven't had dinner yet, but I'm not necessarily that hungry right now. So, yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. So where were we? Yeah, D-Tunes, I'm using, like, very generic, claim-free music right now.
Another one? Oh, this is gonna
hey,
be fun!
Hi, buddy. It's nice to see you. I'm also really kind of, like, out of it. I tried to take a nap earlier, but I couldn't. I was, basically just cleaning up my patio. And it's nice and it's cleaner than it was. I shouldn't say it looks great. I should just say it's like it looks adequate. It looks like I actually did something with it. So, but yeah, job well done. Pat myself on the back. This is still more detailed than I'll draw Riley, usually in the comic, but, you know, this is for reference, so. Drawing during quarantine is tricky because when you work at a studio, you're drawing for work, which is its own kind of fun, but when drawing at home, it's for fun, personal enrichment. Now that the two are intertwined, I feel like it's harder to find balance. Dude, I completely agree. When something that you want to do for fun becomes work, it's not fun anymore. And I kind of find that with myself sometimes with my comic, but I don't know. I think I've gotten to a place where it's like, I know this is work for me to do a comic like once a week, but I like what I'm drawing. I think I've finally found characters that I enjoy drawing and coming up with stories about on a regular basis. The problem is that I can't make those stories fast enough for me to appreciate me drawing it and like sending it out. It's like I really wish that I could come up with like a 10-page story in the span of a week, but I honestly really can't do that. I'm not gonna make her barefoot this time. You know what? I need to look at her shoes. I love how I drew her shoes in this reference. I don't think I know if I'll ever be able to draw these kind of shoes ever again, but I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm just going to bring the shoe in and just kind of like, oh, I kind of freaked out a little bit. I'm sorry. I thought you know, since my cat passed away a couple weeks ago, I've been kind of like thinking I see him every once in a while, like at the corner of my eye, and yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to bring it down. It's just one of those things that's like, but it also kind of comforts me in a way, because it's like his spirit is still around, you know? So, maybe he's, like, looking after me. So, yeah. I like to think of it that way. But it's starting to get really dark. I'm gonna turn on a light. Once again, I'll be right back. These shoes look like Air Jordans. Now I want to look those up. What do Air Jordans look like? I kind of see where you're getting with, but these just look like every other shoe that I've seen. Give her Sonic shoes? Nah. No Sonic shoes. I'm good. Shoes are probably like my least favorite thing to draw unless they're severely simple. I might as well give her Sonic shoes. But these are probably like simple enough. I tend to draw Riley barefoot a lot. In a way, it's like I kind of enjoy drawing feet just because, you know, it's like it's a bit of a challenge to draw feet, and I don't really see a lot of tutorials about it. I see more tutorials about drawing hands than I do feet. And, I don't know, I think that's kind of, I think it's a necessary need to, like, draw feet, because you don't, but the thing is, like, we don't really draw below the waist a lot, so it's kind of, it's almost like we don't really feel like we need to draw them that much. Cheat feet. Oh god. What are they called? Soap shoes? It's like, Is that like the Sonic Adventure? Steve's playing Sonic Adventure 2 today, by the way. But yeah, it's like, aren't those called soap shoes? The ones where it's like they used to grind on railings or something? I don't know why they're called soap shoes. But no, he's not streaming it. I wish he was. Otherwise, I'd be watching it. Did people actually cry with it? I don't know, actually. I don't know if that was like an actual thing. It's like, if you want to grind on railings, like, don't people normally... Wouldn't people God, I wish I knew what these shoes looked like in this angle. I just want to, like, be able to model, like make a 3D model of a shoe, so that I could just have that as a reference. Like if I designed a shoe and made a model of that, I would just like use it to just turn and to whatever angle I need, and that way it's like I could draw it from there. But as of right now, it's like, doesn't look like that's gonna happen. But anyway, as I was saying, it's like, I don't think people like ground. What is the past tense of grinding? Grounding? They didn't ground? I don't think they necessarily grounded. So stupid. What am I talking about? I don't think they actually used shoes to grind on railings. I think they actually... It's like, you might as well You might as well just like use a skateboard or something like that. I mean, that's probably as close as it's gonna get, I think. Until I actually design this shoe. Knickknack0404, thanks so much for the follow. You could make a 3D model of a shoe for me? I mean, go ahead. That's why I'm making this reference. If you want to make that shoe, please, by all means. And then I could use it. Then I could use use it as a turnaround. I don't think the shoe is big enough on this side. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I could make it a little bit bigger or wider or something like that, or... It's like, I don't know, it just seems smaller to me. Or maybe I'm thinking too much about it. Sometimes the eyes can do tricks on you. Cave, did you find any footage of people grinding with soap shoes? Because that would be funny. I would love to see that. Couldn't you grab a 3D model of a video game character with shoes? You know what? Now that you mention that, shoe model, shoe CD model reference. I mean, there's people who have made like shoes, like they've made 3D, it's like CG model shoes, but when it comes to a specific design, it's you know, it's going to be difficult because it's like you need to, if you have like a particular design on a shoe, then you would need to know how those designs look like at certain angles and whatnot. I mean, looking up shoes in general for reference is like, I mean, there's a dime a dozen. But I'm just thinking, like, if I had the design that I made for Riley right here, and I had that as a CG model, I probably would have an easier time being able to draw them. Because what I'm trying to do, and, you know, I don't think about it. I don't know what would happen if I did. I don't know. I guess what I was hoping to do is like just kind of get like dimensions, like size. But I don't really think people have 3D printed shoes. Yeah.
You guys thought I bought this for skateboarding? Hell no.
Oh, I thought this was like BuzzFeed Unsolved
today
guy.
We have a very, very grind plate, and then you can draw.
Huh.
Should we just go to like a third?
Yeah, this guy basically made like shoes to grind on a rail, but
First try. Nope. That's insane.
and he's trying to do them on
180,
like,
okay.
dude, this guy's gonna break his legs.
100% if you're not.
I'm like watching this video and this guy's like trying to
You said you've never done
basically grind on different things outside in the city,
It's one of those.
like railings and
Should I
benches and stuff, and I don't think I don't think it necessarily can do that. He's not Sonic, man. You can't do what Sonic does. Sonic says you can't do that. Slightly widen the foot. I also think it's not, I don't think that this is, doesn't look I see where you're getting at. I see what you're saying here. What time is it? It's 8 o'clock. I don't know how long I'm going to stream tonight, but I definitely at least want to finish Riley. Something feels off about this shoe still. Man, okay, so I probably wouldn't be this finicky about the shoes here were I just drawing it for a panel. But since this is a reference piece, it's like I almost kind of need to be a little bit nitpicky about it. So yeah. Usually when I draw or sketch or do a rough, when I get to the feet, it's often the most rough portion of the drawing. But yeah, soap shoes just seems more like a concept than it is like an actual product. Because from what I remember, I think, at least in Japan, you could buy those shoes that Sonic was wearing. The reason why they designed it that way, it was because he was basically advertising shoes in Japan, which I find really hilarious. You know what? You're kind of right, Knick-Knack. I actually agree with you on that. I think the shoe on the right should probably be a little bit more facing forward. Let me see what it looks like when I go wide, but I just want to draw this real quick. So, let me just go a little wide. Yeah, I'm seeing the problem now. I think I'm seeing the problem. It's like maybe her feet are too small. Damn. I probably should have looked at it at a wider look before I decided to go through, but give me a second. Let me just quickly save this. Okay, so now that I have this screwed up drawing, yeah, it's like I almost feel like maybe she needs to have maybe it's like maybe I need to angle it down a little bit more. There we go. If I have her feet moving, every time I say feet, I can't help but think about Vinny now saying like feet, because he's trying to do the Quentin Tarantino thing. Okay, I'm gonna make a movie, okay? It's gonna feature Riley's feet. Ah, God. What a joke. It looks like it's a high heel, almost. I mean, well, I don't know. I don't know about that. Sorry. It is angled very oddly, maybe. I wonder what would happen if I just kind of... That's the wrong layer. No, don't apply. It's like, okay, so the shoes actually make the feet look bigger, because when you think about it, if you have her feet just normally without the shoe, but if you add the shoe, it's basically like expanding the foot. It's making it bigger. So, of course it would look big. I think maybe this might be an accurate size, and maybe a little bit more in the heel. And I actually haven't watched a lot of Boondocks, so I don't have like a favorite episode, but I think I also know what the issue is here. Maybe. That looks too flat. It's like, I mean, this is a little bit better, but I'm also kind of screwing up the drawing here. Maybe I should just draw her feet. Take care, James Nathan. Yeah, I definitely need shoe reference as a helpful guide. I'm like spending way too much time on these damn shoes. It's easy to make cartoony shoes. I have more fun when it's like I don't really think I don't feel like I need to be accurate with it. But you know, it's why I have like kind of an appreciation for people who draw very mechanically. Like people who excel at making vehicles. Like I know people who can draw cars amazingly, but they can't really draw anything else. It's like, wow, you've perfected and mastered drawing something that a lot of people have problems drawing. And it's kind of neat to see that, like, that there are people who can basically make stuff that a lot of people normally can't. And so if someone can make, you know, really intricate and mathematical designs that require a lot of like precision, it's, you know, that's something to admire. It's probably still not big enough, but I should probably make something for dinner soon. I'm probably not going to make anything too extravagant tonight. Because my stomach's still kind of giving me a little bit of crap for whatever it was I ate earlier today. Alright, so I think this is good. I think it did a fairly good job here. Now to get her other... What song was just playing? Whatever it was I could find on the YouTube claim-free music playlist. And I didn't have the name of it, sorry. Whoa, that's new. That's not good. What the hell was that? Did you guys see that? It just like completely wiped out most of her face. That's something I haven't seen before in Clip Studio. Yeah, it's unfortunate. And I don't want that to happen again because I could lose a lot of the drawing when that happens. What I'm basically drawing is like, you know, just showing that it doesn't matter which side of her face is covered by her hair. It's like she could still have her hair on either side. And I just want to make sure that it looks accurate enough to Orzine. Good night, Orzano. It's the Super Mario Brothers Super. Anyway. It's the stupid Mario Brothers stupid show. Alright. I think we can color these now. This took longer than it should have for me, I feel. But, yeah. Oh wells. I saved a color palette for Riley and a few other characters just because I like to go back to it just to kind of color pick whatever it is I need. And I'm not going to go into like super detail. And you know, nah. I thought about changing her eye color, but I'm like, nah, I'll keep it this way. But I will.
Another one? Oh,
Cerulean, thank you so much for the follow. I do appreciate that. I'm getting a lot of follows tonight. Not necessarily doing anything special or unique, but it is nice to see some new faces come in. So, thank you. And that turned out okay. I should save this as no hair. Nice. What kind of lessons are you trying to learn? Thing about doubling up on colors is that you sort of need to be a little accurate where you put the colors in the next thing. This looks okay. And is this it? Yeah, that's the one. Yep, and it starts. You're not allowed to have fireworks where I am, but there's fuckers who'll do it anyway. And I hate every goddamn one of them. Cool. Hey, Nutsy13. I'm doing okay. Yeah, you kind of can't escape it. It's fine. It's like, it's almost inevitable around this time of the year. I just don't want any fires started. That's the one thing that kind of like fucks with me a lot, is that I have like I have a fear of fire. So if anyone starts something and it's at my house, I'm gonna be pissed. Simple as that. I'm just gonna be pissed off. Or the hills near where I live, if those light on fire, it's just gonna make me really friggin' nervous. And I'm gonna have to like I don't know. It's like I had to evacuate at one point when the fires were happening a couple years ago. And that was not fun, thinking my house might be next, you know? And I know some people who lost houses in fires. And it's weird. It's like I kind of wonder what happened to some of them. I hope they're doing okay. But yeah. I simply just do not like fires and fireworks. They're not really fun to me. It kind of also, I know like some people like fireworks for the spectacle of it. I think my reasoning is that I grew up near Disneyland, so I would see fireworks nearly every night whenever they'd have them, like right in the middle of where my cul-de-sac was. You could just look through the window of our house, and there would be the fireworks, and it would happen every night. And it's almost like once they're done, it was almost felt like, okay, it's time to go to sleep now. I just got bored of them. It's like the fireworks are the least exciting thing to me. And also, not to mention that it fucks with animals. It scares them. Animals will get into panic attacks. And that's also a factor in this that I don't like fireworks for. So, I don't know. Also, I don't really think there's anything good to celebrate right now. There's like absolutely nothing to celebrate right now. I don't want to like get anyone upset or depressed or anything, but I'm very done with this. I'm very done with a lot of things. So Paper Mario game's coming out in the next couple of weeks. I am very cautious about it. Oh, did I? Oh yeah, it's on one layer. Uh-oh. Let me take this. One thing I like about Clip Studio is that it just like pastes in place. So when you copy or cut something and you paste it, it makes its own new layer, and it just puts it in the same spot. You put the E on the wrong side of the name and it's one L, but it's cool. No one's ever really gotten my characters' names right. People still have like a problem with Pixels' name, and sometimes they call her Pixel. I have often thought about just naming her Pixel at one point, but I was like, no, it's fine. I forgot to draw a belly button. I was like, no, I'm not going to change it just because of a crappy movie. Her name's fine as it is. I also thought about giving her a sister called Voxel. But, I was like, nah. It's a little on the nose. And I also think that someone else came up with a character with that name. And, I just hope no one's, like, fucking lighting off fireworks in my backyard. I don't know how they get back there, but it's like I'm certainly hearing something. I'm mostly just trying to ignore it.
Incoming connection!
Psychic Chasms, thanks so much for the follow. There's also a character that I designed. I had to change the name and the design. But most of the time it's like, you know, it's close enough. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I mean, sound really travels around here, so if something sounds like it's right next to my house, it's most likely not. Oops. So I thought Vinesauce's Hope was this weekend. Apparently it isn't. It's gonna start on the 20th.
Another one? Oh, this is gonna be fun!
Deathel Chemist 2, thank you so much for the follow. I've been enjoying that Twitch is kind of embracing an art community in a way. Yeah, it just sounds like someone's like sounds like someone's just like beating their trash can against my wall. I don't want to keep talking about the fireworks. They're annoying enough as it is. Does Pixels have a voice? Yeah, you just heard it. I mean, at least I hope you heard it. I hired someone to voice both Pixels and Riley, and I'm also at some point going to start looking for someone to voice Seneda. Possibly Glitch. The more I show her off, and also Lenore, who I need to draw a little bit more often. Are you saying that because she has green hair? Because, it's not the only character with green hair. But that's alright. Compare whatever you want. Time is it? It's 8:30? God. I'm not answering questions about the roomies anymore, sorry. The only thing I'm gonna answer to that is that roomies is no longer a thing anymore, sorry. It's been done for a while. I might make these a little bit brighter. It's too pink.
Another one? Oh, this is
Archie
gonna be
13,
fun.
thank you so much for the follow. Give who? Give who an ankle bracelet? Him? Who did the voice? Well, Riley is Tiana Camacho. And Pixels is you're gonna have to excuse me if the name I'm so god awful with names. It's like Lizzie Freeman. Damn it. I don't know why I can't remember her name. She's really nice too. Alright, so I managed to draw and color in Riley. At least, a second. Full body front. Okay, and move that over. And I'm gonna add more details later. As for now, I think I need to take my break, and I'm gonna go relax and maybe make a little bit of something to eat. But thank you so much, everyone, for coming by. I appreciate all the new follows. Thank you so much for the new subscribers. That's really helpful. Next week, I'm going to do some more live tutorials. I'm figuring out which subjects I want to start with, but yeah, that should be fun. So yeah, if you haven't followed already, please do. And I do appreciate all of your support, and thank you so much again. So take care, guys. Have a good night. Be safe and be nice to each other. See ya.